So I was telling you that what led me to this whole concept was really just how untraditional some of my teaching was. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I had classrooms that I actually was told that I would have students come in partway through the class, stay for part of another class, and then leave halfway through that class because they had conflicts with rehearsals for operas and other things. So if I was teaching a level 2 and a level 1 piano class, I would have a level 2 student come in late to his class and then stay for part of a level 1 class. While I had level 1 students coming in to start their class, I had to finish his level 2 class. And then I had that happen across multiple sections. So I was teaching multiple classes at the same time, overlapping, which was a very unique experience. I've taught a lot of mixed grade and level classes. I've had classes where I am teaching freshmen alongside doctoral students, where the doctoral students are reviewing material. The freshmen are getting it for the first time. I've had mixed age and experience levels, especially even in my pre-collegiate, with students coming in after taking a break from piano for years, with students that are beginners in the same class. I'm sure many of you have experienced the online hybrid from COVID, having classrooms where I had students spaced 6 feet apart, all on separate keyboards, while I also had students online at the same time whose cameras didn't work and I could only hear them, or I could only see them and not hear them. I had a lot of what I call keep from failing students. One of the schools I taught at, unfortunately, did not have a program to help students that were struggling in terms of tutoring or, getting extra resources. And so I kind of became a teacher that was just called on to say, hey, this student is failing this class. Can you somehow keep him or her from failing? And it was a really wonderful experience, actually, because I got the opportunity to work one-on-one with a lot of students that for whatever reason, were completely just not clicking with their courses, whatever those courses may be, music, literature, or something more tangible like piano, and having to really figure out why the classes were not working for them. And then as well, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced 2 classrooms without resources, where I was trying to teach intermediate piano to 3 kids on a single piano. So, it was a unique challenge with register and with trying to keep everybody engaged without, kind of seeing through in some ways, because students also can recognize when resources are not there. So all this to just kind of say that I know we all have a lot of shared experiences with at least a couple of these, but all of these things really started making me think about, what does this mean as an educator when you're given all of these different concepts and all of these different situations to deal with. And what I really learned for myself, at least from my experience, is that adaptation was much more important than the material. So of course, lesson planning and curriculum and all that is incredibly important. It's not to underline that at all. But what I ended up finding is that there were a lot of times where I would get into a course and realize that I had to completely change what I had thought I was going to do that day, either because I didn't have the students there, or the levels were not there, or the interest wasn't there, or whatever, you fill in the blank. But it was learning how to say, what is my material and how do I adapt this in this moment to what's happening in front of me, instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to stick with the lesson plan today. And the other kind of 2 big points that I learned was that individuals can really influence a larger group. And I'm sure you've experienced this for those of you that have taught in classrooms, or studios where you have multiple students there at the same time, where one person's enthusiasm can be contagious, or one person's frustration can also be contagious. But the flip is also true, that groups can also really highly influence the individual. I've had classes where students come in and they're not really excited about whatever they got enrolled in, but the community was built up so much that it ended up becoming one of their favorite classes, just simply because everyone bought into this concept of community and trying to learn together. And I think the single biggest thing that I ended up realizing is that the challenge that really presented itself with adapting to the moment was neurodivergence. And so that kind of leads us to where we were going to discuss today, and how I came up with wanting to discuss this topic with all of you.